ladies, thank you so much for coming back for the showstopper. Today I'll be making eclairs. The culinary producer asked us to make two different types of eclairs, and it had to be a custard-based filling. So I'm making a very unconventional flavor. I'm making grapefruit and pomegranate. Both of these eclairs are dedicated to my grandmothers. My grandmother on my father's side loved grapefruits and pomegranates. I don't understand grapefruits. They're so bitter. I like them as a scent in my lotion, but I don't understand it. My other eclair is for my grandmother on my mother's side, who loves hazelnut coffee creamers. She gave me my first sip of coffee when I was 5. Don't judge her, she didn't give me too much. Just this tiny sip, but it was so good. So I'm making a hazelnut coffee eclair for her. In here I have some butter, salt, sugar, milk, and water. I'm gonna go heat this up real quick and add it to my flour. While that's heating up, I'm going to whisk up some eggs and put it to the side until I'm ready to use it. I let the milk and butter mixture come to a boil, and now I'm adding it to the flour. I know I'm breaking the rules here by doing it the other way around, as opposed to pouring the flour into the pot and drying it out until a film forms and all that jazz, but I've done it both ways many times, and I found it doesn't make a difference for me. Now I'm just incorporating the eggs very slowly because you really don't want to over-egg it. This is the exact consistency that I was looking for. When I pick up the paddle, it drops back into the bowl smoothly, but it's not watery or runny. Now I'm going to fit my piping bag with a star nozzle. What I like to do is cinch the bag so that when I go to fill it, it doesn't all come oozing out. Another thing I like to do is put the piping bag into a cup or a tall glass so I can use both hands to fill it. Now it won't come out unless I want it to. I'm dabbing a little bit of the choux pastry dough onto the parchment paper so it doesn't slide around when I'm piping. Now I'm going to unravel this and start piping my dough. While those are in the oven, I'm starting on my hazelnut coffee crumpet to CA. First, I'm going to steep these hazelnuts in some milk. While that's heating up, I'm combining the egg yolks with a little bit of sugar, salt, and all-purpose flour. The milk has come to a boil, so I'm adding some coffee granules. Now I have to temper my eggs so they don't scramble. I'm adding this very hot coffee mixture little by little until it's fully combined. The eggs are fully incorporated, so now I'm putting it back onto the stove until it thickens. Adding a knob of butter at the end ensures that it'll be creamy, but also it'll help it set. With any kinds of custards, crumpets, or curds, you want to cover the surface with cling film or wax paper so it doesn't dry out and create a film on top. I already went ahead and made my grapefruit crumpet. It's just milk, sugar, egg yolk, salt, plain flour, and a lot of grapefruit zest. Both my crumpets are chilling in the fridge, so now I'm moving on to my grapefruit curd. In here I have sugar, butter, eggs, grapefruit zest, and freshly squeezed grapefruit juice. I'm going to put this on the stove and keep stirring until it thickens. Just as I did with the crumpets, I'm covering this up with cling film. I'm not going to waste those hazelnuts that I steeped earlier in the milk. Instead, I'm using it as part of my filling. Pureeing the hazelnuts and folding it into the crumpet not only gives it a boost of hazelnut flavor, it gives it a fun crunchy texture. My eclairs are out of the oven and they're beautifully golden brown. I'm puncturing the ends with my piping tip so I can release any trapped steam. I'm getting my filling ready for the grapefruit and pomegranate eclair. This is the grapefruit crumpet and grapefruit curd that I made earlier. It's been chilling in the fridge, and now I'm just combining the two. The reason I made a grapefruit curd and a grapefruit crumpet is because I really wanted that intense grapefruit flavor to come through. I'm preparing my piping bag exactly the same way I did with my choux pastry earlier, because I don't want any of this mixture to be oozing out of the end. Now I'm just filling my eclairs with the grapefruit mixture and doing the same with the hazelnut coffee. I'm making a simple glaze for the grapefruit and pomegranate eclair.
It's just powdered sugar and a little bit of pomegranate juice. It's a great way to add vibrant color without food coloring, and it also gives it a pomegranate flavor. Now it's time to glaze. For my hazelnut coffee eclair, I chose to do a chocolate glaze. This is just semi-sweet chocolate, golden syrup, and butter.
When I was coming up with the decorations for the grapefruit pomegranate eclair, I really wanted to give it a burst of pomegranate flavor, but I didn't want to put pomegranate seeds on top of the eclair, just because I don't think it's really pleasant to bite into a pomegranate seed, especially when you're eating something as delicate as an eclair. So I made this pomegranate molasses to drizzle on top.
It only takes 3 simple ingredients: sugar, pomegranate juice, and a squeeze of lemon. I just put this on the stove to reduce, and I'm left with this thick, beautiful pomegranate molasses. This is going to give my eclair a sharp burst of pomegranate flavor, and it's going to go really well with the sweet grapefruit filling. With the time restraint we had, I really didn't want to go crazy with the decorations. I just wanted to keep it simple and elegant, so I decided to go with laces. For the hazelnut coffee eclairs, I decided to go simple again and topped it with gold hazelnuts. You don't need to cut hazelnuts in half with a knife. I found it easiest to just push down on it with my palm, and you end up with 2 perfect halves. I'm not a big fan of food coloring, but I'm giving these a little spritz with some gold mist.
So that's it for my eclairs. If you'd like to know what I made for Cookie Week, I'll be posting that soon, so stay tuned.